What if I was to tell you your fear looks nothing like this on a daily basis? Ooh. G'day, it's Mark from Failurist here. So today we're going to be talking about fear and everyday fear at that. So the intro was a misdirect. It's not the jump scares that you sort of get in a scary movie, but it's the everyday fear and how it presents itself and how it gives you a pleasurable experience because you're avoiding certain tasks. So that's what we'll get into today. Fear, my best friend.
Fun facts.
Did you know, as a fun fact, that fear can present itself as a euphoric feeling? I've had that many a time and I didn't realize that until very recently. Fear is a protection mechanism, but in the modern world, it's a avoidance facilitator. So back in the day, the cavemen, they'd see a tiger, they would run for their lives. That's because the one and no proposition of fear back in the day. Whereas now it will fill your day with treats until, you're tired because you've been watching TV or doing whatever. Um, that's what fear is at the moment. It's hard tasks that you don't want to do. So you've got a comfortable alternative. So think about it. You've got a job application. And did you put it in straight away, or did you see that the dishes needed washing? So you were fastidious and you made sure that every dish was sparkling. Nothing wrong with a clean kitchen, but it's not going to get that application in. You'll wait until the last minute until that fear is overwhelming, and then you'll get it done. Because the reality is you didn't actually do your taxes instead, unless taxes are your guilty pleasure, and this is a safe space. Um, so yeah, that's your fear giving you a quick win, and it's giving you an easy win because you didn't have to work hard for that outcome. And for me, my euphoric feeling would be, yeah, let's watch some TV, let's watch some Netflix, um, and that's what fear can do.
Story time.
Oh my God, that voice. I dreamt about that voice last night. It replaced the giant squid in my nightmares. So, story time. Let me give you an Inception type story. So, today is the 20th of the 1st. I had drafted this run sheet on the 14th of November. I actually recorded it on the 14th of January, actually. And I'll put in the bloopers because the shirt's dirty. It's very me. Fight all my fear, actually record a video, and it's a dirty shirt. So, anyway, um, so where was I? Yeah, so just because, about fear, and, okay, this euphoric fury feeling is actually fear, it doesn't mean it's not going to kick your butt. Literally had that yesterday where I was supposed to record this video again, and I watched the Netflix movie, The Rip. Great movie, but like, really, what did I do with those 2 hours? Um, and that's what fear does. It puts pleasurable things in your path. You know, did I enjoy watching the movie? Absolutely. But did it move me forward? Absolutely not. It gives you the options that you know about. It's familiar. You're going to get joy out of, you know, those sorts of events because they're the path of least resistance, you know. And the reality is, am I afraid? Was I afraid yesterday? Was I afraid on the 14th of November to record? Absolutely. And the reality is that I might be just talking to put this on YouTube and have no one engage. That's a reality, because that's what's happened before. But that's no excuse not for trying, you know. I have a story, I have to tell it. It's hard to tell it, but it's an important thing. Now, 6 months, a year, somebody might actually have these events going on in their life, and it's my duty to actually articulate that, to get the learning from that, because it's my purpose, you know. And the reality is that fear will take you, and it will take you so gently, and it would hold you in its monstrous arm, and it will sing you sweet nothings until a day becomes a week becomes a month becomes a year, and a year becomes a decade. And I know that from experience, you know, because I've always taken the path of least resistance. You know, I've taken the easy path because the reality is it's easy. It's actually really hard and really scary to actually stare at a camera and actually pour your heart out and articulate your story. But it's important. You know, we do these things because they're important. You know, we apply for the job because we want to grow. Um, and that's the thing. You'll always have the path of least resistance, but the best path to take is the path of more resistance. It's where you need to go. It's your destiny to actually take that path and take the bumps and take the bruises, take the scratches, fall down, pick yourself up and take those learnings. You know, why did that happen? Because I was afraid. How can I fight that fear? By doing one small thing to move yourself forward. Okay. Because I mean, it's been amazing to watch Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, you know, Community is my show, Rick and Morty. You know, I can go on and on and on because that's what I love to. It's my guilty pleasure, but it hasn't moved me forward. You know, doing this, doing the hard things, you know, and start to build that resilience muscle. That's the thing that moves me forward. Now, fear's always going to kick my ass. It always will, and it'll always be part of me because it's my best friend. But it's also a toxic relationship. So I have to continue to understand that and continue to fight it. You know, there'll be some days that I'll win and some days where I will absolutely take a whooping. But I'll have the ability to rest. I have the ability to wake up and go, today's a new day. Let's get at it. Let's get at it. So, you know, that's my story. And I've got like a ton more of these sort of fear events taking me. And, you know, what I did, which were easy. And we'll go through that over the coming months. But, you know, I just want to articulate that it's a very real thing to take the path of least resistance. The hard path, that's a path that we need to go upon.
With the first pick of the Global Resilience League draft, you select
trade proposal time. So what Focus is offering is the steal of the century. It's the Bounce Back Blueprint Bundle. Try saying that 4 times, but in essence what it is, it's 2 journals. It's the Everyday Fail Journal and the Big Fail Journal, as well as access to the Failures List. These journals basically help unpack failure events and take learnings from them, whether it be those everyday type failures or the bigger failures such as, you know, lost job, marriage breakdown, those type of things. I've found them extremely useful to unpack those sort of events and take the lessons from them and then chart a course forward. So yeah, that's what we're offering. If you go into the description below, you'll see a link to Trade Central. And as you'll see, and as all the pundits are talking about, it's a steal of the century. Okay, so what are the lessons learned out of all of this? So key learning for me is that failure is not an overt emotion. It ties itself in so well with, you know, ecstasy, joy, because what it does is it feeds you the path of least resistance. For me, like I said, TV, I watched the movie, The Rip, which is fantastic, but didn't get me to what I needed, where I needed to go. And that's what it does. That's why it's my best friend, is that it just integrates in part of my life. And, but the thing is, if you're hyper vigilant and you know about it, you can actually call it out. And with it, it starts with one small step. And that's what I'm learning. You know, there'll be times where it'll just kick me. But there'll be times where I'll go, yes, I'm afraid. What is the one small step I can do to actually start on the journey and actually take the hard road. For example, recording this video, it was just assembling the camera, literally plugging the camera into the computer. That's the one small step. And now I'm sort of talking to this into this mic and looking at this camera. So yeah, it and also start small. Well, if you start small, so I'll give you an example. I hate exercise. I just do not like it at all. 3 years ago, I decided, you know what, I need to start getting healthy. I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day. And it wasn't until like last year where I actually started, and I started with 20 push-ups, but I kept going and I kept committing to that. And in September, I actually did 100 push-ups in a row. Um, and that's just because, there were some days where I did 500 push-ups a day because I'd left it a couple of days and I needed to balance it out. But it's about tackling that fear, coming in and then all of a sudden getting stronger. And yeah, it's because I articulated the first thing I had to do is just start. So it's really important. Um, just want to let you know that we have a website, failurist.com. On there, you can make a booking. If you need a one-on-one appointment, but there's plenty of resources on there. Got an Instagram account at the Failurist. So if you've got any questions or want to reach out, please do so. But I think what I wanted to leave you with is that, all good things come to those that keep fighting for good things. So fight the good fight. Okay. And just remember that fear will always be there, but if you let it, it will take you for an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, as it has to me. Everybody feels fear as well, except for Jesus, but I'm pretty sure he was afraid of spiders. I don't know if it's in the Bible. I just get that sense. Okay. So, if you like the video, yeah, a like for my ego would be amazing. But, if you need to subscribe to anything, I would say subscribe to the Huberman Lab, because that dude is fire. So many actionable items. Yeah, but this is going to get really dark. The videos are going to get darker in the next couple of weeks. So, take a look and then decide if you want to sort of click on the next one. But yeah, all good things come to those that keep fighting for good things. So keep fighting that good fight. And if I see you in the next one, great. But if not, just be your best self. And just remember, if you get knocked down, you can always get up. Okay. So I will see you when I see you. Bonne nuit. I'm sorry. That was a terrible take, the last take, but I'm going to keep going. So we have a trade proposition for you. So what the team is offering you is the Bounce Back Blueprint bundle. Try saying that a couple of times. I think I said it right. No,